Recently, in Bleach Episode 7 and in images released by Tite Kubo, the original Gotei 13 has been revealed. The same group that originally ran the Soul Society, led by the GOAT Genryusei Yamamoto. In today's video, we will be discussing everything we know about the original Gotei 13, and eventually we'll cover everything we learned about this group and each individual member. Surprisingly, the amount of information that has been revealed in these last few weeks is like twice the information we had like a month ago. And that is what genuinely makes this whole month insane and exciting. In one fell swoop, Kubo revealed more information of the origin of the Serite than ever before. But before we dive into this information, don't forget to subscribe. I produce a ton of Bleach-related content quite frequently. Drop a sub if you're new and leave a like and comment if you enjoyed today's video. Let me know your thoughts on the original Gotei 13. Originally, we knew very little about the 13 captains. We knew a bit about a few members, being only 2 of the captains, but we had some general knowledge on them as a whole. For example, in chapter 523 on page 17, we learned from Shinsui that the original Gotei 13 were the ultimate Shinigami, and that Yachiru Unohana was the most notorious criminal in the entire Soul Society, yet she was a captain. In fact, the concept of captains being criminals is not an old concept by any means. Even prior to this reveal of Unohana, we learn about when Yuabak defeated Yamamoto. On chapter 511, page 10, and in episode 7 of the anime, Yuwatch says, and I quote, "The original 13 court guard companies that you founded were only court guards in name. They were a group of cold-hearted killers, but because of that, they were greatly feared, and it was you who kept them in line. You were truly a beast with the sword. You used everything and anything to slay an enemy. The lives of your men weighed only as much as ash to you, but that all changed when you killed the Quincy off." This is to prove that the original Gotei 13 were psychotic by nature. They were psychopaths and criminals at heart. It was only Yamamoto's pure willpower that bent them all to his own will. This will being able to keep their murderous tendencies at bay. I don't just think that this is Yuabak just calling them psychopaths or saying Yamamoto got weaker. I believe this is Yuabak saying that the entire Gotei 13 became weaker, not just the head captain, especially as he references all the Gotei 13 in Yamamoto. Shinsui also believes that the original Gotei 13 were among the strongest 13. The original Gotei 13 has had a lot of mention throughout the story of Bleach, not only in the battle of the first Unohana and by Yuabak, but Yamamoto has also been in reference as the man in charge for thousands of years. Shinsui in Turn Back the Pendulum discusses how Unohana and Yamamoto have been around the longest out of the 13 captains, showcasing how they are the only 2 that have been around since the beginning. However, in the manga, we were never shown what each member looked like. They were always presented as shadowy figures until recently as everything began to change. So let's get started on everything we know on each individual captain of the original Gotei 13. Squad 1 Captain Genryusei Yamamoto, head captain of the Gotei 13, was a terrifying captain. His power was absolutely terrifying as he was the founder of the Gotei 13 and became the head captain for over 1,000 years, leading to several generations of captain, but never falling down and losing until near the end of the Bleach story. He has 2 battle scars. The first one was caused due to unknown reasons, but the second one was given to him by Sasakibe. Prior to the second scar, he had the name Ejise. After his battle with Sasakibe, his new star gave him the name of Jujise. For the sake of Sasakibe though, Yamamoto took on the name Genryusei. 1,000 years later, he fought against Yuabak and the Stern Riders and founded the Gotei 13, in which he used his raw strength to keep the most notorious criminals of the lands from misbehaving. With ease, they took out the Quincy and defeated them. He then survived as the head of the Gotei 13, being with one of the most powerful Bankais in the story. His Bankai is so broken that just by being active, Toshiro Hitsugaya is unable to perform his Ice Bankai, as the heat will instantly melt it. He is so powerful that while even badly injured, he managed to hit Aizen with a Kido in the 90s. Kido is reflective of your actual willpower, making him a fearsome opponent in terms of strength. Throughout the story, he is one of the 2 captains from the original Gotei 13 that remain as a captain throughout the actual timeline of Bleach. His Shikai, Ryujin Jaka, is strong enough to face Ukitake and Shunsui at the same time. In fact, his spiritual pressure, while in Shikai alone, nearly paralyzed a lieutenant. His Bankai was so powerful that only the father of the Quincy had any capability of stopping it. Yamamoto was a force to be reckoned with. After all, his Bankai was powerful enough to destroy the entire Soul Society. The second captain of the original Gotei 13 is Shihon Chika, and out of the recently revealed members, he is the one that we know the most about. He is a noble from the Shihon clan. While not much is known about Chika, we do know that he is a member of this clan. We do not know if he is the head of the clan. If anything, I believe evidence points against this. This does not mean that there's a chance he isn't the head of the clan, as heads of the clan tend to be around the captain level in terms of strength, so it would make sense, but I know that some are theorizing that he is the first head, but that doesn't make much sense to me, as he appears young and the noble families have outlived the Gotei 13 by 1,000 years. That being said, anything is possible in the afterlife. My reasoning for believing that he isn't the head of the noble family is that it was under Yoichi that the 2nd Division became solely associated with the Shihon clan. However, it could be that he is the head, but there was a split from the role until Yoichi takes over. Or maybe at that time the Stealth Force had yet to be created, since what was specifically said wasn't the Shihon clan, but that it was Yoichi that connected Division 2 and the Stealth. I definitely think there's evidence pointing towards both sides, and I don't want to make assumptions. His fighting style seems to be similar to Yoichi and Soiphone's, as the limited footage seen of him is using Hakudo. My guess is he is really good at stealth and assassination type attacks. He is also really good at hand-to-hand combat, but there is definitely a lot more that's needed to say this with confidence. I really hope in the Hell Arc we can see Yoichi and Soiphone maybe fighting him together. That would be an awesome battle with a lot of great fighting coordination by Kubo. Again, I really like his design and find him to appear really cool throughout the story. The third captain of the original Gotei 13 is, oh boy, Izuhara Kinroku? That was not pronounced right. But he is the prime example of a 4chan user. In all seriousness, his design screams psychopath to me, and I think that Kubo nailed that. His fighting style is really unique as well. It appears that he fights by going for the neck. Other than that, I'm not too aware of any other aspects of his character. I think I will definitely be interested to learn more, as although out of the designs he is one of my least favorite, he just seems kind of basic. I think it will be definitely interesting to learn more about him, although out of the designs he is definitely one of my least favorites. He just seems kind of basic, but hey, if all the designs were 10 out of 10, then none would stand out. Oh my gosh, this name. Okay. The fourth captain of the original Gotei 13 is Shijima Chiguri. And I did not say that right. This is definitely before the squad was known for healing, as a heads up. I only know that as they were all ruthless individuals. My theory, as well as many others, is that Tenjiro was the one that transformed Squad 4 into its support unit. I definitely believe healing existed prior to this in the Soul Society though. I just think this is where the Soul Societies at large convert into these practices. I personally could care less about his design overall though. The fifth captain of the original Gotei 13 is Obana Danjiro, and his design intrigues me. To me, he feels like a part of the Shiba clan, despite that not being in his name. He seems like a powerful warrior, and I love his design. In fact, I think he has the perfect broken character design. He gives me like Shanks and Gildart vibes in design. Not in like overall design, but just like the same vibe that their design gives off. Besides his design, not much is known about Danjiro though. I do believe he is a frontline fighter though. Finally, the hot waifu's turn. The sixth captain of the original Gotei 13 is Saito Furofushi. I am just gonna call her waifu for short. And man, I wish I was one of the Quincy's she killed, because at least then I would have been close to her. Okay, I take that back. I do love her design though. She gives me a lot of Haruka vibes, but I'm gonna honestly just call her waifu because I'm not gonna say her name a lot. It is different and unique. Speaking of which, Bunny Girl Haruka is coming soon. I mean, I hope. Well, not super soon, but we'll see her pretty soon. This girl seems kind of like a psycho, but a hot one at that. There isn't too much information besides her design, which is going to be a common theme on most of these characters, as you've already discovered, as little is known about each individual one. I do think her character reveals something interesting, and that is that the Kuchiki clan did not always rule Squad 6. That was ran by others during a period of time. This kind of is a shock to some. I mean, I never believed that the Kuchiki clan did run the Squad 6 forever, but I know some people definitely theorize that. The 7th captain of the original Gotei 13 is Shigeyo Nobusana. What the heck is these names? Listen, I struggle to pronounce like basic names, and some of these names are not very basic. He has one of the sickest designs of the group despite this though. When I think villain, he comes to mind. A psychotic murderer, someone who doesn't mind committing mass genocide on the Quincy. Those are the vibes his design gives to me, and I think that is the best part of his character so far. We haven't seen his fighting style yet, but I already know that this type of character is a monster. Like, I know the type of character he is. 10 out of 10 Kubo, I love this design, and hopefully I'll love his character as it's revealed in the Hell arc. The 8th captain of the Gotei 13 is Katori Batsunasai, aka Lisa is a queen, and no, I genuinely think Katori might have been married into the Naneo clan due to her obvious appearance. She looks similar. She uses a spear, which I can only assume is either a clan treasure of hers or her Shikai. I believe it is her Shikai. Her design is cool, but you can definitely see a resemblance at the minimum. If she isn't related to Naneo, then I don't know how to feel about this design. It's too similar, and I feel like that alone might make it slightly problematic, in the same way in how in One Piece the females look way too similar. Bleach would have a similar issue if that was the case. So it all depends on how Kubo handles this situation. She's the only individual that was revealed in this episode 7. Shikai, we know besides the 2 that survived to the current set of the Gotei 13. The 9th captain of the Gotei 13 is Kamui Entetsu, which really gives me these horror type vibes, almost like a scientist experimenting on different torture methods. He is seen brutally finishing off his opponents by cutting them down, meaning he has some sort of brute strength, despite his Zanpakuto being smaller. I really like his design. A lot of these designs really bring home what the original Gotei 13 is all about. These mass murders that don't value human life. I love his design so much. In fact, it's another 10 out of 10 design for me. Despite seeming so basic, it just really does its job so fantastically well. The 10th captain of the Gotei 13 is Otogawa Furoki, which has the appearance of an anime badass. He's actually the first one I noticed when it came to the original Gotei 13, as he is the first one I managed to see stills of on Twitter, and he genuinely looks so cool. He looks like an OP guy from anime, or maybe even a broken anime protagonist. He gives me a lot of Master Samurai vibes. There isn't much to say about his character, again because we barely saw anything of him, but he is definitely one of my favorite designs of the group. I'm really excited for the potential chance to see more of him, though I doubt we will get that chance anytime soon. This section will contain spoilers for episodes 9 and 10 of the anime. The 11th captain is Yachiru Unohana. She was given the name Yachiru, meaning 8,000 styles, representing the numerous styles of swordsmanship she mastered through the years. As the first Kenpachi, she is genuinely both equally terrifying and powerful. When we do see her abilities, there is not too much known about them, as Kubo has been very secretive when concerning her capabilities in terms of abilities. But she is an insane warrior, being able to kill Kenpachi Zaraki in just a few moves. The same Kenpachi that took out 3 Stern Riders with ease. Yachiru Unohana was considered the most notorious criminal across the entire Soul Society. I mean, this is the same woman that learned how to become one of the most powerful healers in the land just so that she could heal her opponents to allow them to fight longer before their own death. That is insane. She was low-key so bored with how weak her opponents were that she healed them so that they might have a sliver of a chance. This all changed though when she met the current Kenpachi. Their fight was truly legendary and was a thrill she had never experienced, leaving a scar on her that longs for battle once more. However, while she won this conflict, she accidentally committed the ultimate sin. Scared of never having another battle of thrill, Zaraki Kenpachi subconsciously began to limit his own power. Yachiru saw this as her biggest mistake, and as such she abandoned her title as Kenpachi and became the strongest healer amongst the Gotei 13. The 12th captain of the original Gotei 13 is Zenjo Jihon. And while knowledge is limited like the others, he seems to also use face painting like Mayuri. Unlike him, he uses hands for his killing, which seems to be a very unique style, smashing heads together. I genuinely found him to be both equally terrifying while cool in style. He definitely gives off the criminal vibe that these 13 units have to give off. 13th and final captain of the original Gotei 13 is Sakahon Saizo, and among the 13, he is one of the most intriguing. He appears to be very old in age. In fact, he looks older than Yamamoto himself. himself. He also seems very skilled as a warrior, but that isn't to say he is stronger than the others, just perhaps wiser. That's all we know about him. Nothing too much about his fighting style or any smaller aspect of his character at large, but it doesn't change the fact that he appears as some anime old badass, and it's awesome. Overall, the revelation of the original Gotei 13 was an amazing addition in Bleach 1000 Year Blood Wars anime adaptation. I can hope that as time goes on, we will see more of them in the anime and potentially even in the manga. This has to be one of the coolest additions I've seen in the anime adaptation ever, and I love the additional world building that it created for us as viewers of the series, and it just makes me love the anime adaptation so much more. But that will be it for today's video. Thank you guys so much for watching, and in the words of Genichimaru, bye bye!